What's up, everybody? Welcome into Studio Day Heffrey, where I got some fresh Cowboys content for you. Courtesy of you guys, really. Remember, in this video, leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. I try my best to take care of you. Is my hat crooked? By the way, I found out a cheat code for when you're looking into the camera thing. It's really hard. If you guys can't tell, my monitor's over there. It's really hard to tell which side it is because it's like flipped. This is not a good way to get into the video, is it? Sorry it's delayed, too. I forgot I was golfing this morning until I got a text. It was like, hey, we're on the first tee, and I was laying in bed. But here we are. Yeah, Cowboys content. You can see the scroll at the top. You see what the topics are. I don't have to tell you right off the jump. And I want to start with, let me make sure I have who it's from here. I want to short you. There you go. David Reeves. He said, top 3 guys you wish the Cowboys would have drafted. And I knew it was a good question, so I pasted it into my little notepad so that I would remember to do it. But I also didn't actually think about it, so I'm just doing this off the dome. I saw today that T.J. Watt was the top-graded edge rusher in the entire NFL this year. So that's number 1. And here's my rule. This is my rule, okay? My rule when talking about the draft, and not everybody has to live by this rule. You can live by whatever rules you want to live by. I live by the rule of, if I didn't think it at the time, then I can look back at it and be like, oh, yeah, they made a mistake, but you can't be too loud and proud about it because you didn't offer them a better alternative. Now, I championed T.J. Watt for the entire draft season, and while they were on the clock, I championed T.J. Watt, and they just weren't having it. Rod wasn't having it, you know? Rod wasn't having it. So if I could change 3 draft picks, I'll just go very recent because then I can remember him the easiest. T.J. Watt over Taco, easily. I had T.J. Watt as like a top 10 or 12 player in that draft. Turns out I was too low on him. And Taco as a late second or third round pick. So according to my grading of college players, that was an atrocious pick. So I'm allowed to say that. Who else was a mistake? Okay, let's go to Tristan Hill. Because the Tristan Hill pick that I wanted them to make while they were on the clock and leading up to that, Taylor Rapp was my guy, the safety out of Washington. He's now starting for the Rams and playing really well. Other people were, I had Rapp just ahead of Juan Thornhill, the 2 safeties. So I'll stick with my guns, although the free safety is probably harder to find than a strong safety. But Taylor Rapp was my guy. So I'll say I wish they had Taylor Rapp on this team because then you wouldn't have to be worried about all this Jamal Adams talk. And your secondary would be pretty, well, your safety group would be pretty nice right now. You'd still be wondering what you're going to do long-term at free safety if you're not going to extend Xavier Woods. But, yeah, I'll go with those 2. And then let me pull up their draft history for a third one because I got to see who they picked to remind me of who I wanted them to pick. Let's see. Cowboys. Let's see if any of them jump out. I know when they picked Van Der Esch, I wanted when they picked Van Der Esch, I wanted Calvin Ridley there. But then we have to redo all sorts of things, and you get Calvin Ridley, then you don't get Gallup, and you maybe still don't pick CeeDee Lamb. So I'll leave that one alone for. Oh, okay. So the next one's going to actually be for me would be the Jalen Smith pick. And at that time, let me make sure I get my years right here. Okay, 2016 in the second round. I wanted the Cowboys to pick. My top guys there were Miles Jack, Michael Thomas, and Noah Spence. I wish I could remember the actual order because, heck, I might have screwed it up worse than they did. I might have picked Noah Spence. But those 3 guys I had first-round grades on, and Jalen, I was terrified of the knee. Could I leave that one alone for now and see if there's another one I wanted to make? I didn't like the Cheeto pick in the second round. I liked the Connor Williams pick. Whoops. I loved the Gallup pick. Connor McGovern I was fine with. Everything this last year I was pretty much fine with. There were a couple guys I liked more than Neville Gallimore when he was picked. Man, I'd have to see the board. So I guess I'll just cheat a little bit and say that with the Jalen pick, I wish they'd picked Michael Thomas. Is that fair? I had him as a first-round player. But Michael Thomas or Miles Jack there. And I don't know. Jalen's showed promise, so I don't want to kill that pick. That's just one of the ones that I remember vividly, the names that I really liked there were the 3 that I named for you. So there you go. Next thing. By the way, NFL Top 100. Pat Mahomes is the 4th best player in the league, 3rd best quarterback in the league. Let's hit that real quick. Because I try to tell people, I think a lot of people view it as these guys play in the NFL. What do you mean you know the players better than they? No, I could rank them better. Because they're just picking guys that they like, or maybe guys in the division or guys on their teams. Unless it's somebody in their division, I don't even know if players could properly, how many players they could properly rank. And I'll give you an example. Because Marcus Mosher posted a picture of somebody's ballot. It only goes down to the top 10, it looks like. But here was a player's top 10 on the NFL Top 100. Russell Wilson, Aaron Donald, Lamar Jackson, and those were the top 3. Let's see what they did after that. 4th, Zadarius Smith, edge rusher for the Packers. 5th, Stephon Gilmore. 6th, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, our 2nd Packer. That's interesting. 7, Preston Smith. Oh, our 3rd Packer. That's interesting. 8th, Jair Alexander. Oh, there's our 4th Packer. Wow. 9, Drew Brees. 10, George Kittle. 4 Packers in the top 10. I mean, they did win 13 games. But I would say that's probably Jair Alexander's ballot, if I had to guess. Maybe Preston Smith's ballot. It's one of those two. That could be Zadarius Smith's ballot, putting himself 4th. And I know he was good last year. But come on, guys. What are we doing? You know what I do like, though? I like Lamar Jackson being 1. I don't think I'd have the stones to do it because I think Baltimore, the difference between Mahomes and Jackson is what if we're down by 24 points, 21 points? And Baltimore, I believe, had the highest scoring offense in the league, so it's not like they couldn't go score points. But if you felt like you had to do it in a hurry, it's a little different. Kansas City versus Baltimore. 3rd and 15 is a little different. Kansas City versus Baltimore. So the top 3 players should be, I would have gone Patty. I could go Lamar 2 for sure. I could go Russ 3 and then Aaron Donald. I think I'm cool with that. And that's assuming we're not doing how valuable they are. We're just doing how good are you at your job. Then you could put Aaron Donald 1 if you want to, because think about that. Think about this. Who's the 2nd best defensive tackle in football, and how close is he? Is it Chris Jones? Who's the 2nd best D tackle? He ain't close to Aaron Donald. Nobody is. So the top 100 is a little bit silly. Letting players vote when they just vote for their teammates is silly. Hold on, what's this comment say? Pretty sure you're not allowed to put one of your own teammates on there. If that's the case, it's got to be a Chiefs player. No, you got to be able to put your own teammates because nobody would put 4 Packers in their top 10 that's not a Packer. Nobody would do that. Anyway, what was next? Oh, let me sneak in my fast food cheat code that I realized today. And my dad's been doing this for a decade, but I never really realized the cheat code until today because I was kind of in a hurry to get home. I wanted Popeyes. 3-piece, dark, mild, fries, Dr. Pepper. So I'm in the Popeye. I pull up in that bad boy. And let's see, the drive-through, when I pull in, I can see 1, 2, 3 or 4 cars right in front of me, which means there's at least 1, 2, at least 2 more to the speaker. So there's probably 6 cars in line. This is the second time I've done this in the last 2 weeks, by the way, at the exact same place. And so instead of getting in the drive-through, I park and I walk inside. 1 guy at the counter. Last week when I did this, no guys at the counter. And they feel more rushed at the counter, because you're standing there. I don't care about a guy in a car outside, right? His order, we're going to get it to him, in a timely fashion. But the guy who's sitting here staring at me, I'm getting his stuff ready. So I was in and out of there in about 120 seconds. Last time I was in and out in about 90 seconds, knocked it out. We've become so lazy, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm super lazy. I order everything online that I possibly can. That if you just walk in and get your food, it's a damn cheat code. So I just wanted you guys to know that. All right, what else did we have for the mailbag today? Jeff, my question from Damon Ammons is, how do I become a person that can talk Cowboys football for a living? Is a journalism degree a good place to start? I don't have a degree. I flunked out of college after 3 semesters. So the answer would be any way you can build a brand, I suppose. Like my buddy KD Drummond. Check him out on Twitter. A lot of times he's out there looking for people that can write. You know? You don't have to have a following. Just can you write? So I think the easiest way to start, well, you want to talk, not write. Start talking. Start your own podcast. Just do it. I got to where I am because I got hired to answer phones at the Fan. And then I learned to push the buttons. Then I learned to engineer. Then Arnie Spanier's wild ass gave me a microphone for the last hour of the show from midnight to 1 a.m. Then eventually for the whole show. And then I did a weekend show. And then Arnie and the Fan parted ways, and Gavin Dawson asked to keep me, so he saved me there. Who knows what would have happened there? So just do it. If you start a podcast, I'll come on it. I do lots of podcasts. I'm down to help in any way I can. AJ says, I appreciate you answering my question. Do you think Dak is getting treated like Romo? Constantly bashed for lack of playoff success while ignoring all the great things he does? Of course. Yeah, you know, and that's the nature of sports, and it's the nature of quarterback, and it's definitely the nature of Cowboys quarterback, is Romo was really good. I'm comfortable with the word great for Romo. He was great. But quarterback has more influence on the outcome of a game than any other position. If your team wasn't as good as the other team and you lost in the postseason and you never got it done, then that'll be kind of your legacy, is you play the most important position, you have the most to say about the outcome of a game, and you didn't win the game. Now, that Giants game, we could talk about some of the wide receivers, and then the DeMarco Murray fumble game. That was a Dak game. But, like, there's more to it, right? But one team wins the Super Bowl, and if you never did, then you're going to have a lot of haters. And I don't mind, you know, when you debate quarterback, like Dak. Let's take Dak, right? Or Romo, whatever. It's the same thing. I was a big Romo guy. I'm a big Dak guy. I think they're both really, really good at their jobs. And I'm okay if we are debating Dak and I'm saying pay him and you're saying don't pay him, as long as your don't pay him isn't based on Dak sucks, right? If it's based on, well, let's look at the Pro Football Focus tiers, and if you're in tier 3 with like 10 other guys, are there that many guys in the league that should be making this much money, or could I find a way to get another quarterback and use that money? I'm a don't downgrade at quarterback on purpose guy. But, you know, if you're talking about trying to find a way to get a top 5 pick, and especially if you'll acknowledge, like, oh, and with Dak, you could tag him, trade him. Now you've got even more draft capital. You could go get a guy. Now you've got a 5-year window where that guy's not making much. And if he's a beast for nothing. And I got this extra $30-something million over here. Like, we can debate it as long as you're not coming from the place of Romo sucks or Dak sucks, because that's just dumb. And I don't like to fight dumb. Jimmy, I'm curious to know what y'all think. When Dak was bad, or he did quotes bad, like when Zeke got suspended, he wasn't bad during Zeke's suspension. He was only bad when Zeke and Tyron and Sean Lee were out. Tyron misses games, or they had no wide receivers before Amari Cooper. Was that Dak's fault or the coach's fault? Did coaches not know what plays to call when a running back doesn't get 5+ yards a carry, or how to scheme wide receivers open who aren't top tier, or how to help poor Chaz Green? Yeah. Dak gets some blame in that, because, again, the quarterback has the most to do with an outcome of a game. But the Chaz Green thing, what do you want me to do? Am I supposed to assume that within 0.6 seconds of taking the snap, I'm going to get destroyed in my back 6 times in a game? It's hard to ask your quarterback to assume that. No, that's on the coaches. You're putting in a dude who can't block. Give him help. That's why everybody's excited about McCarthy, is the what-if factor. What if Jason Garrett's influence on Kellen Moore is part of the reason for X, Y, and Z? But, yeah, Dak has some of that. He gets some of that. I don't know which quarterback you can point to right now other than, like, Lamar Jackson, and they have a great roster. But, like, Lamar Jackson would be good no matter what, because he's so unique. What he does, you can't replicate. So he'd be good no matter what. I believe Mahomes would be great no matter what, or almost no matter what. But he does have Tyreek Hill, who is the most unique non-Lamar weapon in the league. He does have one of the 2 best tight ends in the league. Like, Patty's got help. So that's what I don't know what to do with. That's why the money debates are really interesting. Because it's like, well, when he didn't have this and this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, when he didn't have this and this and this and this, who was going to kill it with that sorry team? Who was going to kill it without a left tackle blocking? Who was going to kill it without a single wide receiver that could get open? And that's the beauty of sports. Sports. Did I have any other ones I didn't get to? Jeff, how well do you think Andy Dalton would do in our system? Do you think Dalton's failure is latent since he was because of the system, or is he a little washed up? I just don't think he was ever a great quarterback. He's all right. Those Cincy teams, when they were making the playoffs every year, those were good teams. Those were teams that, I don't have it in front of me, but I feel like they were always good defensively. They could run and throw. You had A.J. Green. Those were really good teams that were going one and done every single year. So I don't think Dalton was ever great. I think, man, saying this is like condemning my own Dak stuff. Do I think the Cowboys could win this division with Dalton? Maybe. And I expect them to win it with Dak. If they don't win the division if the Cowboys don't win the division this year, unless something real weird happens, I'll come around and meet you guys in the middle somewhere with Dak. Start talking about how much could you get for him. He's a really good player, and last year he was really good. But you're not going to replicate being the worst special teams ever. You're not going to replicate being a defense that can't tackle. You're not going to those circumstances won't all work against you. You won't lose every single close game you play in. So I expect them to win the division. And if not, maybe I'll back off how good I think Dak is. But Dak's really good. So check in a year from now. But they're going to win the division, so maybe you don't want to check in a year from now. Darius, my question for tomorrow is, who do you think will be your camp standouts, obvious and dark horse? The most obvious camp standout, maybe every year, will be Amari Cooper. Guys can't cover him. It's insane. Last year I was tracking during camp, like the win-loss of receivers and DBs and one-on-ones. I stopped. I didn't have to track, but I stopped after 4 days of Amari Cooper. I just stopped even writing down what he did because he literally won every rep. Guys can't cover him. He's just too good a route runner. He's too quick. He's fast. He's an amazing technician. So he'll be the obvious camp standout. Dark horse camp standout. Give me... I want to pick one of the interior offensive linemen. Give me Connor McGovern. I'm going to go Connor McGovern, which is a bad pick by me because he was a draft pick of a previous staff. I should pick Tyler Biadasz, but I liked McGovern a little bit better coming out of college. McGovern Biadasz. Err on the side of trying to be right. McGovern or Biadasz? Who is it? You guys tell me. McGovern or Biadasz? Anybody else that could be a dark horse standout? Tight ends, receivers, offensive line, running backs. Maybe one of the running backs. Luke Gifford, maybe. Francis Bernard, maybe. Go around the corners. McGovern or Biadasz? That's it. That's what I'm going with. James, do you feel it'd be a disappointing year if Dak replicates the same stats as 2019 and we don't make the playoffs, even though he has a new coaching staff, upgraded tight end, and Lamb? Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. You're not going to have the worst special teams. That's the big thing. The Cowboys, did they lead the league in yards per drive? And then their kicker's missing all these field goals. Like, the fact that they ranked as highly as they did in points per drive and offensive efficiency was incredible because they had crap field position and then a coach who would throttle it down when he was in field goal range so you could go miss a field goal. So, I'll be super disappointed if they put up the same stats and they don't make the playoffs. They should win this division. With Brandon Brooks out for the year, with Marquise Goodwin opting out, the Cowboys have a better roster, better quarterback, maybe not better coaching, but you have a better football team. Go win the division. The end. That's all I got today. Let me know if you made it to here. 1932 in the video. You still here? You guys still here? And I got to think about what I want to see in the comments. Other than asking what you want to talk about tomorrow, I need my random thing of the day. Just kind of looking around. What's your favorite piece of exercise equipment? I like the little bands that are all different resistances. What's your favorite form of exercise? Yoga? Cardio? Elliptical? Playing a sport? P90X? What are you into? Let me know. And, I'll see you guys on the radio here in just a bit. Again, sorry I'm late today, but make sure you're subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh. Leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. Mash the thumbs up. And, turn on the notifications. Be part of the 15% club that gets notified every time a video goes up. Love you guys, and I will catch you on the radio.